Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. We are delighted today to have Dori Mages, who is the founder of North Shore Family Services. They have 4 locations in Illinois: Northbrook, Skokie, Park Ridge, and Libertyville, serving families, kids, adults, teens, couples, with all kinds of mental health therapies. She's also a clinical social worker and has been practicing since 1994. We're super excited to know that she's also a best-selling author with her book, Strong Women, and is a dynamic speaker and speaks all across the Chicagoland and North Shore area on parenting, divorce, emotional behavior issues, and health issues, business growth, and even networking. So we are very excited to have you on the show today. Welcome, Dori.
Thank you for having me, Marcus. This is so exciting.
Absolutely. Welcome. We're glad to have you here. So let's just jump right into it. You know, we're in some trying times right now, and a lot is going on, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. So tell us a little more about North Shore Family Services and how you're helping your clients today in this environment.
Sure. I am talking to you from my home office, which used to be my craft room, but it is working for my teletherapy headquarters for the practice. And right now, all of our therapists are working remotely, so all of our clients can still be seen. We started using teletherapy in June of last year just for emergency situations, inclement weather, or clients who couldn't get to our office for their regular appointment time, and we offer a HIPAA-compliant teletherapy platform, which is free for our clients to use, and it's working really well. We always pride ourselves on encouraging children, engaging teens, empowering families, and so we're getting really creative in how we're providing those services to our clients so they don't have to have a gap in services, especially during this big time where children, teens, parents, families, everybody's all together, and that can be great, but it could also be very stressful.
It's wonderful that you were able to pivot on a dime and be able to still serve all your clients in a very empowering way using the teletherapy, which is also HIPAA compliant, which is wonderful. So tell us a little bit about some of the benefits and some of the strategies that you think you can share with our listeners today that can help them reduce their stress and anxiety during, all the different things that they're seeing on the news and the radio and social media and so forth.
First, I'd like to start with the children and make sure that you're not giving them so much information that you're increasing their anxiety. That's really important. We're all anxious, and as soon as we start sharing that with our children, and especially young children who don't really understand that, they're watching, they're understanding it at some level, and so trying to keep that even keel for them as much as possible, letting them know what you're doing to keep your family safe, but not overwhelming them with that information. And this is a great time to really spend that time with your family. I know as a therapist working with kids and teenagers, our busiest time is after school evening. So it's very rare that I can be home with my family at a really early time to have dinner and everything. So they usually wait for me and we have a much later dinner. But I'm home with my family and cooking and spending time with my teenagers, which is really rare and a little bit different for this time. So I would say spend the time with your family. Don't tell them more than they can understand. Reach out to friends. Try to have as much normalcy as you can. I know Zoom is a great platform for that. A lot of people are having virtual get-togethers and ways to just connect with people. And also keep your normalcy as much as possible. If they normally have an activity, I know a lot of the extracurriculars are offering video soccer practice and video dance class and whatever else people typically do during the week to just keep that normalcy and structure for them.
So what I'm hearing is really it's about keeping the normalcy, keeping a routine, keeping them active, limiting the amount of negative things in their life, and it's just keeping almost like a daily routine going on and that connection as well, which is probably happening more now since everyone is home and taking advantage of that, that's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And forgive yourself if you need to do some screen time, because screen time is probably a little more necessary than it was at other times. And, it's okay if they need some time to do that and decompress. We have ways to decompress too. And I'm not saying be in front of the screen all the time, but they may need some together time and then some alone time. So we've been working on a lot of that with our clients who didn't have that structure of e-learning the last couple of weeks. So to find some ways to have some time to interact with their siblings, interact with the parents, interact with their friends that may not be as active and as regular as it used to be.
Would you say, are there any other strategies that you would recommend for teens that are maybe a little bit older than some of the grade school children?
Well, the teens are really used to this way of communicating. they're on Snapchat all the time. They're on Instagram. They're, messaging their friends. So this is common for them. They just can't be in person as much. So step it up, allow them to have their phones, allow them to have that interaction. This is something we talk about with parents a lot, is that just don't go to the go-to of let's take away your phone, because this is their connection with the outside world, as we all need that right now. So encouraging them to have that time with their friends, however they can safely.
That's wonderful. They are kind of isolate themselves as it is already in their rooms and on their phones and on their screens and so forth. And so how about for adults? We're trying to keep it all together and keep our families together. What are some strategies you can share that will help adults help to reduce the stress and the anxiety during this time?
As much normalcy as possible is what I would say. Just first and foremost, whatever that looks like for you, which is really different right now. Being at home, working from home, being your homeschool teacher for your children, it's very different. Try to set up a routine for yourself where you're getting up in the morning at a regular time, getting dressed. For women, maybe you put on a bra or makeup, some way to just kind of have that sense of I'm at work or I am doing a job today and it's serious and this is what I'm doing. I know people are really enjoying that free time and not having to, get out of our pajamas all day, but just for mental health, I think it's important to keep some semblance of a routine, even for the adults. And we need to reach out to our friends too and connect with our family members and people you would normally talk to during the week. I've done a lot of business networking meetings over the last couple of weeks, all via Zoom or a HIPAA compliant program if it was with our therapist, and we're really connecting. People really enjoy it and they crave that. For adults too, we get lonely.
Absolutely, we do. I think staying connected is one of the biggest things that I think for me, personally, I think has helped out, as well as just kind of keep that daily schedule, keep a nice rhythm to the day going, which is I think so important for us adults as well as our kids and teens. So that's fantastic. Right. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and exercise, a lot of places. I know that all the health clubs are closed, but people are doing a lot of online videos, a lot of free workouts that their normal gyms may offer or other resources that they can use. I'm doing it sometimes with my kids and my teenagers. They're really enjoying that. So just a way to keep yourself active, and it's free, and you just have another way to do it. No excuses this time because we got lots of time.
Exactly. And the other benefit to exercising is it also strengthens your immune system, which is important in this time as well. So that's a great strategy. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. Lots of water, and take your fish oil. Those are important things.
Fish oils. I've heard vitamin C. I've heard vitamin D3. There's quite a few supplements you can do just to put the odds in your favor.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good things out there to help you. And what's great is you can get online and order stuff and have it delivered right to your house the next day, with a lot of these places. So that's phenomenal. And
I'm not a nutrition expert. This is just what I'm reading, just like everybody else is trying to figure out how to stay safe and healthy.
Absolutely. There's a lot of things to do to boost your immune system. In fact, I do a lot of reading on that myself, and there's quite a few things I've added to my routine, which is pretty extensive. But I think, in this day and age, we got to do a little bit extra just to make sure that we put the odds in our favor, that we all come out with the sun shining. That's great. So what inspired you to become a clinical therapist?
I was going to go become an attorney because I always knew I wanted to work with kids, and I thought being a divorce attorney would be that thing because that makes all the sense in the world, right? And then the summer before my sophomore year in college, I worked at a law firm, and this is in the 90s, or very early 90s, and, doing data entry, they called it, like answering the phones and writing documents and wills and things like that for the attorney that I worked for. And I realized I didn't want to do that kind of work. The good news was my husband happened to work renting space for the boss that I was working for. And I met him that summer and went back to school my sophomore year in college at U of I. And I said, okay, what can I do with a psychology degree? I really like this. Is there something I can do? And then I graduated a semester early from college and went to grad school at Jane Addams in the city and got my school certification to be a school social worker and started there. Worked in foster care right out of college, teenage boys in foster care. I've done psych assessments in the ER. I've worked for private practices. I've been in intake. I worked in a lot of different areas and really found ways to help the kids and teenagers I really wanted to work with, and also supporting parents so they can continue helping their kids outside the therapy session. That's great. I mean, that's a big jump going from wanting to be an attorney to becoming, being a clinical therapist and social worker. But you're still helping people. That's great. Absolutely. I didn't want to argue with people all day. I wanted to have some helping strategies and control, I guess. While I was in grad school, I was a case manager and working in foster care. We had to go in front of the courts and make recommendations. And sometimes the child's attorney would agree and everybody would agree. And then we get in front of the judge and they make a completely different judgment. And I felt really helpless. I was already in grad school, but I already knew what I wanted to do. And not having that say and being able to do what I feel is right was really difficult for me. So I'm glad I made the choice. I still love going to work every day. Sometimes it's working in my basement these days, but I love the work that we're doing. And really, we hire people that have that vision for what they're doing. Every session is about trying to give a strategy. Sometimes we give homework to try to keep them learning the skills that we're giving them. So it's not like, oh, come on in, we'll play a game because you're a kid. But it's like, okay, well, we'll engage them with games, and we'll do games and worksheets and different ways to engage. We have puppets in the office. We're doing a lot of this online, too, now, where we can share our screens in therapy, which is really cool. And it just feels like we're in their room. Kids are sharing their bedrooms and showing us, like, their dad sits on the couch when they watch TV. And it's just really a different level of that right now. But having those strategies is really important. Our job is for clients to not need us anymore and get the strategies they need so they don't come back. It's a very strange business model, but that's how we do our work.
Right. You try to get your clients out the door.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, coming in and referring friends and other people who need it. But yeah,
well, of course,
we're not doing our job, they're here forever. So we don't want that. We want them to gain skills. And it's fun when the kids will call their parents out on, not using a skill. I had a client recently who was talking about how mom was doing a performance, and he said, we had to really talk about that negative self-talk, and we really got her back on track. And it's really cute that he was using the language and helping her.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. It's it's wonderful when you can see the work you've put into it blossom like that, and then so not just getting better, but actually utilizing and practicing it in their lives that way. So that's got to be very rewarding.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I've seen more and more adults in the last few years, which really I enjoy so much because they want to be there. They're asking for more things that they can try, more ideas, and it's great. A lot of young adults who aren't sure what they want to do next in their lives, in their career, in relationships, or adults who have been married, they've got little kids, kind of managing stress and anxiety and working at a job and all the things that go with that. It's just kind of working through life in general. It doesn't have that stigma that it used to have, I hope. And people are really expressing themselves and being able to use the knowledge that they have. And I found that even more with teens. I've had a teen come into my office and they get a text from a friend and they said, oh, hold on, I'm just telling them I'm at my therapist's office. I'm like, really? You're telling them that? She's like, oh, yeah, all my friends have therapists. No big deal. Where the parents come in and say, okay, I've got to go. We're at the doctor right now. And they, quietly get off the phone call.
Right.
So it's coming around.
That's wonderful because it is. Because, we all need help. We all need someone to talk to. We all have issues and stresses and challenges in our life that sometimes we don't know how to handle it. So, I look at it as someone who's athletic. You got to have a coach. You got to have somebody that's going to help guide you along the way, which is wonderful. So, So speaking of, you've got a fairly large team that you've built up over the 4 different offices. Tell us a little about your team and who's on it, and the kinds of people that are in your practice.
We have 16 staff members that are all clinical based, and then we have 2 admin providers who do intake, billing, and all of our records. Everything is digital, so there's no paperwork to fill out. Everything is online, which makes it very easy on our HIPAA compliance portal. When we hire staff, we have a very rigorous application process. They complete an application. We do a screening just to make sure of the culture fit, their cognitive skills, how they learn, how best they train, how they work in the setting that we're doing. And that program also allows us to see how they work remotely and if that's a good fit for them, given the time that we're in right now. So we have licensed clinical social workers, we have counselors, we have marriage and family therapists at all of our offices. And all of our therapists see children and teenagers because that's how we started the practice. But many of them also offer couples counseling, family work, and parenting work with the clients. So we can do a lot of collaborative work. One person in our practice is seeing a child, maybe another coworker is seeing a sibling, and then maybe another coworker is seeing the parents for couples counseling or any combination of that. When we work with kids and teenagers, we always encourage parents to send us an update every week so we can be informed on what they're working on and what strategies they've tried this week, what issues that they've had, and any great accomplishments they've had. So we used to have parents who'd want to come in at the end of session and say, did they tell you this? So we really hold the parents accountable to keep us up to date. And also we want them to know what we're working on therapy, not necessarily here's what he said or she said, and here's all their deepest, darkest secrets, because there is confidentiality, but what we're working on with them so they can know that there's some accountability on our end too. And we have a great staff. I mean, I know everybody says that, but our staff works so hard. They have such great care for their clients. They're really going above and beyond to find creative ways to keep them engaged and do the work that we're doing. And we also have one-on-one supervision with all of our therapists every week. We have monthly supervision and case consultation. There's a lot of sharing going on collaboratively with our team. And all of our employees are employees. They're not independent contractors, which is really different in our field. The difference that makes for clients is that they are vested in staying and wanting to be a part of our team. They are part of our practice. One of their goals, our culture goals, is demonstrate a willingness to help when there's a need and taking ownership in the success of the practice. So they've got a lot of independence, but they also can really step up to make the needs known for clients and help them and see them when they need to be seen.
That's wonderful. I love it. I know you've shared a lot of great strategies with us today, and we may have some listeners out there that they put these things in place and they're still feeling that angst. They're still, the anxiety is way up, the stress is going. What would you say is the most important question that those listeners should ask themselves as they consider talking to a therapist via teletherapy in this time?
One, be kind to yourself. I know that may sound very cliche, but everybody's trying the best they can right now, and it's not going to be perfect. I already mentioned that screen time waiver because this is survival mode. And also maybe asking yourself, do I have what I need to really do well with this, or could I use some encouragement and some help? Marcus, you talked about a coach, and one of the things that we can do a little bit differently, though coaches often offer a lot of the same strategies, because we are therapists, we can bill insurance, and we are in network for Blue Cross Blue Shield, PPO, and some of the HMOs. The HMOs have just now waived all the copays during this time, so people can get their services and not have to worry about paying copays even while they're in network. So that makes it really easy for them to access services. If they don't have a support group, there's a lot of ways to find that on social media. We've done a parent support group. We're going to have one regularly, so stay tuned on our North Shore Family Services Facebook page and Instagram to see when those are coming up. They'll all be on Zoom, and we make sure that everybody changes their name so it doesn't have identifying information on there, so they can just have their initials or something while they're speaking, and they can speak freely and get some advice from peers as well as our staff members. And we're going to be offering that not only in the evenings, but also during the day for when kids are in e-learning and parents need some support.
That's a wonderful service. Thank you so much for putting that out there. I think people need it more today than ever before.
And that's a free service. We're not charging for that either, Marcus. The parenting program, we just want to offer that to clients and people who just need that extra boost right now. We're concerned about people losing their jobs and maybe losing their insurance, and this is a way to kind of keep connected.
Absolutely. I love it. So how can someone find out specifically more about those programs, North Shore Family Services, about you, Dori Mages, and how you all can help?
We have a website, northshorefamilyservices.com, and a lot of our therapists have written blogs. We content very often for our clients and for anybody who's not a client to read up about parenting strategies, couples counseling, surviving in shelter at home. We have a lot of great blogs and articles that are really timely for now, but also we've had them for many years. So if you're looking for help on any topic, we've probably covered it. And if we haven't, we'd be glad to write about it. Things like how to swallow a pill versus how to feel included at Halloween and ways to support your children through a death. So we've got a lot of different articles out there. And then you can contact us on our website, northshorefamilyservices.com/contact. And Serena, our client experience coordinator, could certainly help you and get you set up with the best therapist that fits your needs and your schedule. Serena has a background in counseling, so we're so lucky to have her, and she's just right on the ball finding the right fit. We also have evening and after school and weekend hours. That's when most of our clients need to be seen. So we're available then too.
And now with the people being at home, are there the ability to talk to somebody during the day, maybe during regular business hours?
Absolutely, yes. We have changed our schedule quite a bit the last couple of weeks for people who wanted daytime appointments. But now that kids are back in school, our kids have gone back to their after school and evening appointments and weekend appointments. Some of the adults may want to do it during their lunch hour when they're free and not have to commute to the office, which is also a nice diversion too. So yes, we offer it at all times of the day. And a lot of us are really finding it really helpful and really feeling like our clients are opening up even more because they're in the comfort of their own home while they're talking to us. And also, since we don't have people at the office right now, we are an essential business, but we've asked clients not to come in just to keep the social distance. We are offering for people if they need to have a quiet space to work. The libraries are closed, Starbucks are closed, everything's closed, to come into our office and use one of our therapy offices while they're on the virtual platform with their therapist so they can have some privacy if they need to. And obviously, we've cleaned everything. Everything's in great shape and is cleaned every day.
That's wonderful. So, Dori, I know normally you're working with clients in the Chicagoland area, mostly, the North Shore area, but you can reach out to, we have listeners all across the state of Illinois. They can call in to you and do teletherapy. Is that correct?
Yes, they can. And we are licensed in Illinois. Some of our therapists are actually licensed in other states. And so we can see if you're in a state where we are licensed. I know that some of the telehealth providers are trying to see if they can cross licensing boundaries and see if they can open teletherapy up across state lines. So if that becomes available, we will be applying for that and trying to help as many clients as we can, as well as access to us through the internet is great because you can read articles and see information that we share on social media too, even if you're not a client. So that's something that we just like to provide information from our experts in our practice.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dori. You've shared a wealth of knowledge with us, a lot of golden nuggets for our listeners here today. And I know people are really appreciative of just hearing different ways that they can put some normalcy back into their day life. And you've shared a lot. So I really appreciate you being on the show today.
Thank you so much. And enjoy this time. This is a gift that helps us slow down a little bit and have some gratitude. Take a look at one of our articles about GLAD. This may help all of you. It's just a little last-minute nugget is ask yourself and maybe your kids at the end of the day, GLAD, G-L-A-D, something you're grateful for the day, something you learned, something you accomplished, and something that delighted you.
I like that a lot. I'm going to use that myself. That's wonderful. Well, again, thank you so much, Dori. We really appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
Thanks, Marcus.
Well, there you have it, folks. For this special edition of the show, we'll see you next time on The Inside Track.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.